Welcome to Typical Tech Lad, and in today's video we have the newly released HMD Pulse, which costs £99 for the 4GB RAM and 64GB storage version, and that's the only version available here in the UK. In this review we'll be checking out various aspects of it, including what comes in the box, the display, performance, gaming, cameras and a few other bits. Before we get started, I wanted to give a shout out to Gary McMenemy. Thank you for becoming a TTL supporter. I appreciate that a ton, and I hope I keep your membership worthwhile. So HMD also released the HMD Pulse Plus, which costs $129.99, and the HMD Pulse Pro, which costs $149.99. And the main differences on each of the phones, from what I could see anyhow, was basically better cameras. The Pulse Plus comes with a 50 megapixel rear camera compared to the 13 megapixel on the Pulse, but the same front camera as the Pulse at 8 megapixel. And the Pulse Pro comes with a 50 megapixel rear camera with a 2 megapixel depth camera and bumps the front camera up to 50 megapixels. And the Pulse Pro supports 20 watt charging compared to 10 watt on the other two phones. And apart from that, I could not see any other difference, so you be the judge whether the higher pricing justifies those additions. But without further ado, let's jump in and see what we get with the HMD Pulse. So to see what we get in the box, flip the lid open on here. Nice kind of pastel pink box. We've got the phone itself. Set that to the side, we'll have a look at that in a second. We've got a user guide booklet, SIM tray ejecting pin, USB-C charging cable, and then the phone itself. Boot that up, and we'll jump into see what the design and build is like. So checking out the design and build, we have the 6.56-inch display up front with the classic quagmire chin seen on budget phones. To the right we have the volume buttons and power button, which is also a fingerprint reader. Around the bottom we have a headphone jack, microphone, USB-C port and the single firing speaker. To the left we have the SIM/SD card tray, which has space for 2 SIMs and SD card storage up to 256 gigabytes. Top is blank. We got the 8 megapixel front facing punch hole camera and earpiece around the front. Turning to the back we have the plastic PMMA, I'm assuming, back cover, along with the HMD logo, nice and shiny, and the 13 megapixel dual camera setup and flash. And as per usual on today's phones, the camera module is raised, so we're going to get some rocking when laying flat. Build wise, I can hear some creaking. Overall it seems sturdy, as much as you can expect from a plastic build. And the phone comes in 2 colors, so we got this dreamy pink and then the unit I have, which is meteor black. So one neat feature that HMD provides with their smartphones is the repair it yourself capability. Now this is a massive positive and plus for consumers, as the ability to repair your device yourself will allow you more control. So HMD have partnered with iFixit, and they have various articles on how you can use their repair it yourself feature, and all you have to do is just follow certain links which will get you to iFixit, and then from there in the HMD repair hub you can select your smartphone that you need parts for. So in this case we'll check out HMD Pulse, and then you're presented with Nokia parts and HMD phone parts. As we know, HMD manufacture Nokia phones, and then you have various different parts that you can purchase. So you have back cover for the different models, and then things like battery adhesive, battery film, charge port. So we'll have a look at the screen, and then you can see here full kit costs $41.99, or you can choose the part only, which costs $36.99, and then a description. So really good to see this kind of stuff, and I guess is a massive plus for consumers to be able to repair your own smartphone if you choose to do so. So that option is there. So moving on to the display, the HMD Pulse has, as I mentioned, has a 6.56-inch HD plus, so that's 720p LCD panel running at 90 Hz. Quickly jump in the settings, dim the screen all the way down. Typical brightness is 480 nits peak, and max brightness is 600 nits. And then just looking through, we got your usual stuff here. You could turn on night light, you could adjust white balance, warmer, cooler, screen refresh rate, adaptive or standard. And then we'll have a look at lock screen. So we have a few bits here. Double tap to check your phone, lift to check your phone, simple things like that. Viewing angles, basically what you would expect on a budget IPS LCD panel, with quite a bit of dimming of the screen as the angles get more extreme, and there's a shift in the color temperature too. On YouTube your playback maxes out at 1080p. White Wine Level 3 only on Netflix with ST playback, so you're not getting the highest playback on there. So moving on to speaker, the Pulse has a single firing bottom speaker which is also audio tuned, and there's audio boost which pushes past 100% and bumps it output to 200%. We can see in audio effects we've got audio playback you can turn on and off, and then you can pick your modes: dynamic music, games, cinema, and then you have audio boost option there at the bottom. So we'll have a listen and see what the speakers sound like. Along with the user guide and warranty card. Then the focus pen itself, which is in black securely, and that's how you pay the pen, and it also is, and it'll connect straight away, pops up with the first time, and you can go through a tutorial highlighting what the pen is capable of. Conversation about you and my aunt!
She's asking if she can come visit. Why would she want that?
Jerry, I'm gonna tell you something I've never told anyone. We need to go to Panda Express.
Under the hood, the Pulse is running on the very aged and not so good Unisoc T606 CPU, which is paired with the Mali T57 GPU. So we get Android 14 out the box, running near enough stock, and then HMD is promising 2 years of OS upgrades and 3 years of quarterly security patches. And we do get memory extension, also known as virtual RAM, and you can add an additional 4 GB. And benchmark wise, really nothing spectacular here at literally low marks. We got Geekbench 6 with a 378 for single and 1423 on multi. On Antutu we got 252,196. 3D Mark Wildlife stress test produced a frame rate between 1 and 14 FPS, so you can't really expect much when it comes to GPU performance, and we'll be checking out gaming in a little while, so we'll see how that performs. And then read and write speeds, so nothing blazing fast here, just your normal kind of speeds here, and the USB port is OTG, so you can connect external drives. And a burnout benchmark score of 8.7 for compute and 59.5% performance under throttling. We'll clear out all the apps in the background and just generally have a look at the phone, so you're going to be getting a good few seconds of load times when opening apps as demonstrated here. So none of that snappiness or responsiveness you get from faster chips. So you're going to have a lot of patience, and you will get frame rates dropping, you will get jitters trying to load something here on Chrome, and I guess that does come down to Wi-Fi speeds and things like that. Split screen, which again worked alright, but not the best experience. You won't be getting any of that snappiness. So we get face unlock and fingerprint unlock. Pressing the button, I guess my thumb wasn't resting on there properly, but it was a bit of a hit and miss, but when it works, it works. And then your usual stuff, network and internet if you were interested in that, Bluetooth, CMOS controller connected there, NFC, cast, printing, Chromebook, quick share, Android Auto, the usual things that are coming with Android nowadays. So we'll check out export times quickly. So I've got some 1080p footage here, nearly 3 minutes in length, and I will be exporting it at 4K, which I do with most of my tests if that option is available. And in this test, we got to 2 minutes and 44 seconds and it had only done 5%. So you can work out how long that would have taken. So not really good. And then I exported the same video at 1080p and that took 2 minutes and 48 seconds. So still quite a considerable amount of time. So just be in mind when it comes to things like that. We'll check out some gaming if we do and see how that fares. Got Asphalt 9 on high quality 60 FPS. The game is running fine, and again it comes down to optimization of games for the CPU and GPU. But it was smooth, not hitting 60 FPS. Unfortunately, I couldn't monitor that as there's no option allowing me to do so. And then temperature, which is from Antutu, it's claiming that it's at 51 degrees for the CPU. I mean, the phone did feel warm around the back, but I don't know if it was actually that hot, or it could be internally. Next, we'll have a look at GTA Vice City. So I'm going to start off with the resolution bumped up to the max. We got a little warning message there, so that's not a good sign. And you can see, it's struggling right off the bat, moving at slow motion. FPS must have been down at like 1, 2 or something. So I'm going to bring it down to halfway, and made a little difference, but still struggling again. And then bringing it down all the way, it was still struggling, but at least the game was playable. So just be prepared to play any games at the lowest graphic settings. And then for Call of Duty Mobile, I couldn't download Warzone, unfortunately, as the phone isn't compatible with that game. The highest for graphics is medium, and then high for the frame rate. And I couldn't use my controller with the game, so I had to revert to the good old on-screen controls. And I mean, it was running okay on those settings, but I wouldn't say it was the best experience, as evidenced by my appalling performance here. I'm going to blame the game and not my actual skills in playing Call of Duty, but I guess we can say it is playable. And then roughly after a half an hour of gaming, the temperatures claimed to be 37 degrees for the battery and 51 degrees on the CPU. So if that is true, then the device was struggling. Battery was dropping, so obviously it's having a lot of impact on the performance and the CPU and GPU, but generally the phone was running fine after I had played those games. But that's just an example of how budget this CPU and GPU is. So we have a 5000 milliamp hour battery keeping all the lights on the HMD Pulse, and that tops out at 10 watt charging, so be prepared for long charging times. And HMD claims you can get up to 59 hours. In my testing, the battery fared okay, I guess. It did get me through a day and a half, and that's with constant use, doing my testing, benchmarking, gaming. So I guess that was one of the more positive things about the phone. And then in your settings, we have your usual bits here. You can check your battery usage by app if you scroll down, and then you can dial down into days and get more of a breakdown by the hours. You have super battery saver. If you turn that on, it kind of limits everything on the phone to pre-selected apps and apps you choose, and obviously it sets a dark theme. And then we have battery protection, so it will wait for your battery to get to 8% and then obviously charge fully once you are nearly going to be using your phone. Adaptive battery, which is a common thing, and then battery info, so you can see your battery health, your full charge / discharge cycles, production date, things like that. For my PC Mark battery life test, I got 9 hours 42 minutes, which is okay, I guess, and that's as my usual settings. Screen brightness at 75%, speaker volume at 25%, and this was with the adaptive refresh rate. So when it comes to the cameras, which I really wouldn't bother with on this phone, we have the 13 megapixel rear camera and the 8 megapixel front camera. And in the app itself, we have your usual setup with night, portrait, photo, video, and slow motion. You can record at 1080 or 720p, both limited to 30 FPS. General settings, nothing spectacular here. Your budget cameras basically, but we'll have a look at some photos and videos I've taken with it if you're interested. Testing out the video camera on the HMD Pulse. Bit windy out here. So in conclusion, this is literally your budget phone. Personally, I would only get it if we're going to be using it as a backup phone or a burner. Don't expect any kind of good performance from it. Like I showed, over time, performance could degrade. As I said, the T606 chip is a 12 nanometer chip, good few years old now. Not really designed for performance. I think literally just built to get your mundane, normal daily tasks done. So like simple apps, simple things. And if you're going to be pushing it past that, you're going to start affecting performance, battery, things like that. Cameras on it, what you would expect from a budget phone. Battery life was one of the more positive things. But apart from that, phone, I guess, looks alright, looks nice. The bezels on the front screen are what you would expect at this price point. So Just keep that in mind. But for £99, which is on the lower end entry level side of things, I guess this is what you would expect. Anyways, that's my video and review. Hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.